If it seems like people are suddenly using ChatGPT for everything under the sun, they are, including getting pregnant. And it kind of makes sense, right? In a world overflowing with acronyms, like if you have ever tried to have a baby on purpose, you know that the acronyms are wild. There's TTC for trying to conceive. There's FTM for first-time mom. So there's advice, acronyms, there's conflicting information. People are going to another source, and that source is ChatGPT. I talked to Mandy Hoskinson, who is 32 years old, and when she wanted to have a baby, she was so overwhelmed by how much there was to do and think about. And if you've ever tried to have a baby, you know there's the ovulation strips, there's tracking your cycle, there's obviously the pregnancy test. Like there's so much that goes into it, which is crazy because I feel like when I was in middle and high school, I was just told like you'll get pregnant. It was like that scene in Mean Girls.
Don't have sex because you will get pregnant and die.
That's not actually what the reality is like for many people. So Mandy started asking ChatGPT questions. She asked, what is the average amount of time that it takes a 32-year-old to get pregnant? She asked if you really should put your legs up in the air after intercourse. She asked if there were specific foods that she should be eating to aid in conception. She kept asking what she called dumb questions until she really understood the science behind ovulation, conception, and the timing that goes into all of it. And what she learned actually changed everything. So get this, so she had been using one of those pregnancy tracking apps, like there's so many of them, and it turns out that that app was miscalculating her ovulation window. So ChatGPT recalibrated her ovulation window. She had intercourse during that time that ChatGPT said, and that very month she got pregnant. When I talked to her for this story, she was cradling her 1-month-old daughter, and she said she was conceived with ChatGPT. And Mandy is not the only one. When I asked for sources for this, I literally got hundreds, maybe even thousands of people reaching out saying they use ChatGPT in order to conceive. And it can be really helpful in specific circumstances. So I talked to a 28-year-old woman named Danielle who lives in Michigan, and she lives in a rural part of Michigan. And she said that when she reached out to see an obstetrician, it actually took her 6 months to go see someone. So in the meantime, she's like, I guess I can turn to ChatGPT. And she really leaned on ChatGPT during what is known as the 2-week wait. So if you have ever tried to conceive a baby, you know what the 2-week wait is. But if you don't, basically the 2-week wait is the time between your ovulation window and when you either start your period or hopefully get a positive pregnancy test. And the 2-week wait is kind of dreadful because there's nothing to do. That 2-week wait is really known for its silence and its uncertainty. So Danielle started typing her symptoms into ChatGPT and asking, is this a symptom of early pregnancy or is this a sign that my period is coming? And it doesn't give a clear answer, right? Because it can't. But even the assurance that you get is kind of comforting. Danielle even changed her diet and supplements based on the advice that she got from ChatGPT. But even when ChatGPT is wrong, Danielle says it brings comfort. And anyone, I keep saying this, but anyone who has tried to have a baby knows how emotionally difficult it can be. So I really do understand that. And if you didn't know, I am a mom. And so I've been through this. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? Because ChatGPT isn't designed to help you get pregnant. Studies have even shown that 52% of its medical responses contain misinformation. The bot can seem confident even when it's totally wrong. So I talked to Dr. Aparna Sridhar, who works at UCLA. She's an obstetrician. And she said she understands why people lean on AI for guidance, but that she would suggest going to fertility-focused apps like Glow, Flow, or Premom, because those are designed for your fertility journey. And they're also reviewed by medical professionals. And then there's the issue of privacy. So I'm writing this story from the US, where reproductive rights are getting rolled back and pregnancy loss is increasingly being criminalized. So what does it mean to put your reproductive health information, some of the most vulnerable information that you have, into an AI chatbot? I talked to Tom Subak, who is a former Planned Parenthood executive, and he put it pretty plainly. He said, you're trading your anonymity for use of the app. And I think that makes a lot of sense because I forget where I saw this, but someone once said,
if you're wondering why a product is free, you're the product.
So you kind of wonder like where all that data is going. And Mr. Subak says, could the data be used by a hostile prosecutor who is going on a fishing expedition for women who have had miscarriages? Absolutely. As is the case with almost any free online platform, you are trading some level of your anonymity and most personal health details for use of that app. But it's interesting because for some people, it's not the facts that ChatGPT gives them that is so important, but it's the tone that the bot takes. So I talked to Megan, who is 37, and her little bot, her ChatGPT, actually asks her if she wants affirmations for her month of trying. So it'll say things like, believe in yourself, it'll happen in divine timing, it'll happen when it's meant to be, things like that. She says it's all the silly things that people tell you anyway, and it's not like it's anything profound, but she does find it really comforting. Again, anyone who's tried to have a baby knows that it is a process full of heartbreak and uncertainty. So I can understand why leaning on something like ChatGPT that can really, give you that reassurance can feel so good, even though you do kind of wonder, like, is ChatGPT just telling you what you want to hear? Because like some of the women that I interviewed for this story told me that even when they knew that they weren't pregnant, like when they were testing negative, but their period hadn't come yet, but it was like pretty clear that they weren't pregnant, like ChatGPT would tell them like, no, it's still possible, like whatever, kind of giving them like false hope. But also, did you know that you can turn ChatGPT into a psychic? Because I talked to Maura McCarthy, who is in her 40s and lives in Los Angeles, and she asked ChatGPT to channel her future child. So she called it a spirit baby guide. Well, she asks the bot functioning as the baby what the baby needs in order to be born. And ChatGPT tells her that her spirit baby is closer than she thinks. And as I was talking to Maura, it was really interesting because she seems like she's of two minds about this whole thing. Like on one hand, she knows that she's talking to an AI chatbot, right? But on the other hand, it is comforting. She said, I do it when I'm lying in bed at night and I can go to sleep after I get that message. So I want to know, have you ever used ChatGPT for something this personal or kind of like in the medical realm? I'm really interested. I'm especially going to be paying attention in the next few months and years to notice how ChatGPT changes our relationship with our doctors. So I don't know, it's really interesting, but I will put the story link in the description. Please let me know what you think about this and if you've had any experience with it. And if you're interested in internet culture deep dives, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next video.